She rammed her Lexus straight into my truck, then clawed her own wrist bloody and screamed that I attacked her. But what she didn't know, that little body cam clipped to my jacket had been rolling the whole time. Every second of her performance, every lie she spit out, every staged move. I had it all. I wasn't even unpacked yet. 2 nights into Lakeview Estates, and I'd already seen more drama than a year on the interstate. I'd worked wrecks, pileups, even fatal crashes, but nothing prepared me for HOA politics mixed with a woman who thought she was queen of the cul-de-sac. Her name was Veronica Kane, blonde, polished, sharp-chinned, the kind of woman who didn't need a crown because she wore her entitlement like armor. President of the Homeowners Association. And the moment I rolled through that gate, I became her target. That first night, all I wanted was a shower and a cold beer. Instead, I found her Lexus blocking the keypad. I tapped the horn, polite, just once. She got out like she was stepping onto a stage, rain-slicked streetlight glinting off her coat. Didn't ask for help, didn't wave me through, just stared at me like I was trespassing in the place I'd just signed a 30-year mortgage for. I rolled the window down, asked if she needed a hand. No answer. Then, in one clean motion, she jumped back in, slammed it into gear, and clipped my bumper. Metal on metal, loud enough to wake dogs. She came storming at me, yelling that I hit her. That voice of hers had the edge of someone who'd spent years yelling over committees and winning. Before I could even explain, she whipped out her phone live streaming to the HOA page screaming that I'd rammed her endangering families. Neighbors cracked curtains. Porch lights clicked on. Then she shouted for Derek and Carl, 2 bulked-up guys in hoodies who carried flashlights like weapons. My hands itched for my badge and sidearm, but I was off duty, just a man in his truck. Good thing I had that body cam running. She didn't notice the red dot blinking on my chest. She got close enough I could see the rain dripping off her mascara. She jabbed a finger at my truck, barked about HOA rules, fines, and how I'd be towed by morning. Then, for the grand finale, she dragged her fingernails down her wrist, hissed in fake pain, and held it up to the camera. "He grabbed me," she cried. My stomach turned. I hadn't moved an inch. Derek took a step like he was about to swing his flashlight. I warned him quietly. "Careful, you're being recorded." He froze, eyes scanning for the camera. Couldn't find it. I knew right then this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a setup. And Lakeview Estates wasn't the peaceful escape I'd been looking for. It was a stage, and Veronica Kane was directing her own little horror show. By morning, the theater expanded. A violation notice taped to my mailbox, unapproved vehicle, $250 fine. Same truck she hit the night before. My passenger mirror had a new gouge, too deliberately scraped. And on the HOA forum, Veronica's post already painting me as the reckless outsider who ignored entry protocol and threatened safety. Dozens of neighbors chimed in, clapping emoji and praise for her courage. Nobody asked my side. Nobody cared. I'll admit it, I sat at my kitchen table with that violation in hand, thinking maybe I should pack it in. Maybe I'd made a mistake. I came here for quiet, not war. For a minute, I actually wondered if I was the problem. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should just apologize even if I didn't do a damn thing. That thought gnawed at me harder than the fine. Because I've seen men beaten down like that before. Good people who finally just gave up. Then something slid under my front door, a folded piece of paper. The ink blurred from rain, the handwriting rushed. I saw what she did. I recorded it. Be careful. They don't like strangers. CB. That was the moment the fog lifted. Somebody else had seen through the act. Somebody wasn't afraid to speak. I looked across the street, caught the faint glow of a laptop through blinds. Chloe Bennett. Young woman, maybe mid-20s, quiet eyes downcast whenever Veronica was near. She'd seen it all, and she'd been brave enough to reach out. Suddenly, I wasn't alone. That night by the lake, we sat on a bench under a willow. She passed me her phone, grainy footage, but clear enough, the Lexus hitting my truck, Veronica clawing her own wrist, Derek and Carl circling like henchmen. It was gold. I promised I'd keep her name out of it. She whispered, "She won't stop. She never does." And she didn't. Trash planted in my yard, new fines for unsightly property posts accusing me of surveillance threatening children. Every move was designed to isolate me, smear me, break me down. But the more she pushed, the sloppier she got. That's how I caught the white box truck, no plates, unloading unlabeled cardboard boxes into a vacant house. 2 men, quick and efficient. Not landscapers, not delivery guys. I called an old buddy at the state office, a forensic accountant. Gave him the HOA budgets I'd pulled from their site. Within minutes, he was laughing that humorless laugh only accountants get. Inflated contracts, $50,000 for seasonal flowers, $80,000 for camera maintenance. All checks written to Kane Construction Services, Veronica's last name. A shell company. Classic laundering. This wasn't just HOA tyranny. This was organized crime hiding behind lawn care and newsletter smiles. I'd had enough. I set up hidden cams, logged every violation, every staged stunt, every post. Chloe funneled me more clips. Even old Mr. Harlan with the cane muttered warnings about what happened to families who resisted fees, lawsuits forced to move. The whole neighborhood was under her thumb, cowed into silence. But pressure makes people careless. And Veronica was cracking. The night it came to a head, I was sitting in my truck waiting. According to a spreadsheet Chloe hacked from the HOA server, another coded delivery was due at 10 p.m. Right on cue, Veronica swung her Lexus across the street, blocking me, broadside hazard lights flashing. She got out phone, high voice, sharp as glass. "You're not going anywhere. You're stalking me. You're finished here." Porch lights blinked on neighbors peeking out. Perfect audience. I stepped out, slow hands open. "Move your car, Miss Kane. You're blocking the road." "This is HOA property," she spat. "I run this place. You don't give orders here, I do." She shouted for Derek and Carl. The enforcers jogged in from the clubhouse, flashlights swinging. Veronica raised her voice to the houses. "Neighbors, you see? This outsider is harassing me, endangering our children. He doesn't belong here." I didn't argue. Instead, I tapped my Bodycam. The screen lit, and suddenly the street filled with the sound of her Lexus crunching into my truck, her shriek, her fake sobbing as she scratched her wrist. Her own voice played back for everyone to hear. Curtains flew wide. A few neighbors stepped out. Old Mr. Harlan leaned on his cane and said loud, "Looks pretty clear to me, Veronica. We all saw it." Her face drained of color. Desperate, she dove back into her SUV, slammed it into gear, and rammed my truck again. This time, harder headlights shattering metal twisting. Gasps rang from porches. That was the line. "Veronica, Kane," I said, voice steady as stone. "You're under arrest for assault with a deadly weapon on a law enforcement officer." She froze behind the wheel, sputtering, "No, you can't. This is my road." That was when the cavalry rolled in. Red and blue strobes cut through the mist as unmarked vans and cruisers sealed both ends of the street. Deputy Sarah Jenkins stepped out, vest catching the lights, nodding at me before commanding engine off. "Step out of the vehicle, hands where I can see them." The scene unraveled fast. Derek dropped his flashlight, muttering he didn't want trouble. Carl raised his hands. Neighbors whispered, some filming, some just staring, finally seeing their queen exposed. Deputies cuffed Veronica as she shrieked, "I am the law here. You don't know what you're doing." Sarah read her rights calm as a hymn. For the first time, Veronica's shoulders sagged. Inside the vacant house, deputies found the boxes stacked to the ceiling, stolen electronic serial numbers filed off straight from cargo theft cases. HOA ledgers tied the shell company to every payment. Derek and Carl confessed to staging trash and damage on Veronica's orders. Richard Kane, her husband, was hauled out in cuffs, too pale and silent. I stood by my dented F-150 watching neighbors cluster under porch lights. Some relieved, some stunned. But no one clapped. No one cheered. They just stared at the woman who'd ruled them with fines and fear, now sitting cuffed in the back of a cruiser shouting empty threats through a rain-streaked window. That's where the story ends, not with celebration, not with forgiveness, but with a quiet street echoing with the sound of justice finally arriving. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: bullies look invincible until someone stands up and says, "Enough."